I think in May or whatever for the approvals.
It will
like
get
that?
approved. You know,
It's going to get approved.
BlackRock does not lose ETF approval. So when that takes place, once the Bitcoin narrative kind of calms down a little bit post halving, altcoins tend to run. So you have your large caps, your medium caps, your small caps, and you have your meme coins, and then the cycle kind of shuffles back in and out.
What do you predict is going to happen with Ethereum? Because one of my crypto buddies, Charlie, shout out to him from no, sorry, it was actually Miguel that hit me up from Dollar Cost Crypto. Hit me up and said, "Hey, how much Ethereum do you have?" And I told him, and he was like, "You need to get some more because this exactly what you said. You mentioned the thing with BlackRock and then the ETF." That is going to get approved for an ETF, and he predicts is going to shoot up. What do you think as far as like what are we looking at for prices for Ethereum? Because I think Ethereum is
Ethereum is a $10,000 token. So you have, it's called the EVM. It's the Ethereum Virtual Machine. All these projects and products are built upon it. So it's a layer one. It's what's called a monolithic cryptocurrency at this point, like Bitcoin. Things are being built upon it.
Gotcha.
So they're ecosystems at this point. So in order to transact in this ecosystem, you need Ethereum. Yeah. So people just use it as that currency. Plus you have the ETF approvals. As soon as it becomes approved as an ETF, what that means is institutions now say, okay, green light to start investing. Not only that, but it's also deflationary. So you have all these aspects taking place. I think Ethereum has a bright future, but if you're looking to multiply 5K, it really depends on your risk tolerance.
Gotcha.
But I wouldn't be out here listening to tweets. I would do some research, figure out where you see a narrative moving, and put that money to work.
You know, it's interesting because people have been telling me that for years that Ethereum is going to be a $10,000 asset very soon. And do you think we might get that this year with it becoming an ETF?
It depends. I think it depends also where Bitcoin ends.
Okay.
But everything follows Bitcoin. Yeah. Everything follows Bitcoin. But right now we're sitting at about $3,300. In January, we're sitting at $2,100. So it's already up quite a bit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's better than keeping just USD. At the end of the day, the USD is
3,400 as of this moment right now.
Okay, so it's up even a little bit more.
Yeah.
So you only see these markets going up, and at the end of the day, if you miss out on the bull run, so be it. Like, it doesn't really make a difference. It doesn't affect my bank account, doesn't affect my bottom balance. And just make sure you don't lose.
Yeah. We don't have shit to sell right now anyway, by the way, just letting y'all know. Like, we're just telling you guys the crypto markets are going up and you should invest. If you guys had invested when we told y'all a couple months ago with the course, you guys would be up right now.
We've been told the highs from Miguel and Charlie.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, 100K, Ethereum, 10K. I mean.
Yeah. So would you say what 2025 potentially we're going to be looking at $10,000 Ethereum?
I don't know. I just know it's there. Okay. I don't like to predict times. It's more so the fact that it will happen. Just like people said, hey, Bitcoin's going to hit 100,000. You can't predict when it's going to hit 100,000. You just know that eventually it'll come. And whether
so you believe that as well, that Bitcoin will be a $100,000 coin?
Bitcoin will continue to go up because the government is continuing to print dollars. And it's not the fact that Bitcoin is just becoming more valuable. It's also the fact that the dollar is becoming less valuable. So you need to understand that it's limited supply versus infinite supply, and that things are priced in dollars. So the more the US dollar gets printed, the more the currency gets devalued, the more Bitcoin is going to go up, because it's not backed by nothing. It's backed by real energy. It costs money in order to mine a Bitcoin. Right now, I think it's about $45,000 or $47,000 to mine a Bitcoin. That's the energy cost that it takes to mine a Bitcoin.
There's a finite amount of them right now.
Yes, there's 21 million. There's more than 21 million millionaires, and there are circulating supply for Bitcoin. Considering what's left over off of everybody that's lost their tokens and stuff of this nature, not everybody's going to be able to own a Bitcoin. So once we hit supply shock and not everybody is able to get their hands on, that's when people are going to start running to the doors to get some. So get in early. The people that call it a scam, well, they're usually financially illiterate people, and that's totally fine.
And you know, I want to get your take on this. We've typically, I've realized that Bitcoin has exploded over the past 5 or 6 years or whatever it may be. I remember when Bitcoin was like $3,000 a coin. Now it's 60-some thousand. Would you say it's a little too high for most people to get in, and they should look elsewhere, maybe into Ethereum or Solana or one of these other alternative coins that have a bright future?
Yeah, it's just understanding ecosystems and understanding where the narrative is. So you have narratives, which is long-term plays, and then you have trends. The trends are like, people playing short-term trends. I think AI is a big narrative. I think gaming is a big narrative. And I just think people just have to pay attention to the crypto market. I don't think people should turn their eyes away from them and from these tokens and these products, because they're real. They're here to stay, and people are building real technology upon it. People are saying AI is not going to come out for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years.
Here it is.
And in 6 months, it completely revolutionized the way that people work. Where is it going to be in 5 years? Where is it going to be in 10 years? Are you just going to continue going to university, getting a regular degree, or you're going to take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime, which is the fact that AI, digital currencies, social media, making money online, building digital businesses isn't going anywhere. The internet has been around for 25 plus years.
Yep.
It ain't going anywhere. It's the new gold rush. I call it the digital gold rush. And it was 1958. It was 1858. And the rumors in California were spreading to the east saying, hey, there's gold, there's gold, there's gold. People 20 years in were probably like, hey, once all the gold was mined, or the gold, most of it was mined, oh, well, it's the end.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the end, because a 200-year gold industry was created from it. So a 200-year internet industry is being built and is being created from the birth of the internet, and we just happen to be lucky enough to be at the inception part of it, which comes with a lot of scams. It comes with a lot of
course.
It comes
Always
with
risk.
a lot of risk, but no risk, no reward.
Yeah. I think when in doubt, buy Ethereum, guys. I mean, Bitcoin might be a little too high for the average person to get in, but I think all of you guys should have enough money to get maybe 1 Ethereum, 2 Ethereum. You know, over the course of a year, you should be able to save up the money and get it, instead of spending that money on some chick that doesn't like you.
I mean, we've seen the time gap here has been pretty safe throughout everything.
Yeah,
So.
it's been going up.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and if you can bear, I think the big thing is also what you mentioned at the top of the show is, you know, you need to be able to stick it out, right? Because people think, oh my God, I'm losing money. You don't lose money until you pull your money out. Don't forget that, guys, because a lot of people think like, I'm losing money, blah, blah, blah. It's never a loss until you pull the money out. And if you can wait long enough, you're almost always going to be profitable.
Unless you were in safe mode.
The thing I always tell people is, one of the biggest scams of the US dollar is thinking that $1 US has always been worth $1 US. In the 40s, you could buy a house for a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
1-2 years of working at a regular factory, you could buy a home.
On a single income too.
Exactly. So nowadays, you can't even buy a house with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years worth of work. Plus you have income tax, which is another scam that we can go ahead and talk about. So what you need to do is understand that the US dollar, anybody can look it up right now. Go on Google and ask
Income tax. Oh my
how many dollars were printed in the last 10 years? Trillions, $6-7 trillion were printed. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to your money? And then look up a purchasing power calculator. What is the purchasing power of your dollar from 2021, which is very simple, not very far ago, to now? And the purchasing power is I think, about 15%. So your purchasing power has gone down in 3 years about 15%. It's absolutely ridiculous. What do you think? The government's going to stop printing?
Yeah.
When you have the printers, you're just going to continue printing.
Not only that, a lot of people don't know this. Like something crazy like 50% of the dollars in circulation were printed during the COVID time period.
Yeah.
So it's like, something wild, like around 40 to 50% of the dollars in circulation. It might be less now because we've been printing so much more money. But regardless, let's say it's 25%, 30%. That's still fucking crazy.
That's a lot.
That percentage of money that's out in circulation right now was printed only 4 years ago during the pandemic.
Stimulus checks.
And it's not, and it's not the thing that things are getting more expensive. It's that your money is becoming worthless.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're not just stealing your money, they're stealing the value of your work. They're stealing the value of your hour. They're stealing the value of your energy, because now you have to work twice as hard, extra hours, in order to have the same lifestyle you used to have. So you need to hedge yourself with assets that protect your purchasing power, that protect the energy that you initially input into something. So for example, let's say I pay you for a gig.
Yep.
10 years ago, $10,000 for a gig, and you held to that $10,000, right?
Cash like an idiot.
Cash. Today, that money would be worth a lot less. So what does that mean? That means that they've stolen the initial value of your purchasing power. They've stolen the initial value of your time, and they've just printed it. They do it through taxation, and they do it through the printing of money. And once people wake up to this, especially if you're overseas, if you're in America, okay, I get it because we have the world reserve currency. But if you're overseas, you're just getting fucked time and time and time again because you're not just competing against your own inflation, you're also competing against the fact that the U.S. is debasing
dollar. It's
crazy, dude. It's
Canada's
absolutely
dollar,
crazy.
like you Canadians need to be the most pissed off that Trudeau's fucking you guys up that bad because the Canadian dollar I've seen has like been taking some of the biggest hits, man. Like it's just it's wild to me, and I like that you mentioned that like literally like the worst thing you could do right now that I'm realizing is like keeping cash in the bank. That's the worst thing you can do right now with the way things are. It's like you need to take that money and like put it into something that's gonna at least hold its value.
Because if you don't do it, the bank will do it for you.
Yeah, they're doing it.
The bank does it
on their behalf.
Yeah, they're getting your money, and bro, they're getting rid of it immediately. Your dumb ass like, oh, take my money from me. They're like, okay, we got you. They hold it. They put that shit immediately to work. Hey, you want to buy real estate? Oh, you want to buy something? Okay, here's a fucking loan, asshole, and then pay me back on interest.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
That's what it is, man. All right. What do we got here? I'm considering relocating to from SoCal to Miami. I love Brickell when visiting. Knowing everything you guys know now, what advice would each of you give to somebody moving to MIA? Thanks, love the show and all the content. We actually, I'm really glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
You mentioned state income tax is a scam. I agree with you. Yo, if you guys live in a state that's in like
New York,
that state income tax, and you're an entrepreneur, what the fuck are you doing,
bro? You
need to get to Texas, Florida, Nevada. I'm trying to think of another state, New Hampshire. Somewhere that doesn't have state income tax. You want to talk about that? You said.
I mean, your biggest expense is taxes. People have normalized taxes. When you begin to realize the origin of income tax, it was created post World War II, and it's supposed to be temporary. And they ended up keeping it and continuing to increase it time and time again. You think they're just going to lower it? No, they're going to continue fucking you over. Income tax is a scam, and when you understand that they're trying to steal from you. If you have a job, the first thing I would tell you is never do that auto signing where they take money from your check.
Yeah.
Never do that.
Yeah.
Always do your taxes at the end of the year yourself.
Yeah.
Manage your own money.
Yeah. You're better off paying them a little bit and keeping that money throughout the year than just giving it to them and getting a refund.
Just invest it, and hopefully you can make a return on it before you shill it out.
Yeah. Because, and I, like an idiot, I used to do that when I worked for the government. Like I just let them take whatever, and I'd get a refund check like a moron. Nah, man.
And you're like, I'm making money. No, you're not making money. What you need to understand is that you cannot depend on another person for financial literacy, to take care of you, to protect you. It doesn't work that way. You've been lied to. You've been deceived into thinking that how the world works is how it's presented, and it's not that way. If you're financially illiterate, go pick up a book on financial literacy. Go pick up the basics. If you aren't educated on business, go pick up a book on the basics of business. If you don't know how to speak, go pick up. If you don't know your rights, go read the Bill of Rights. Most people live in this country. They say this is a land of opportunity, land of freedom. They don't even know their rights.
Yeah.
So go get informed. Go get educated. If not, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to continue getting fucked time and time again. And we see it throughout history. The brokies, the peasants, they always get the short end of the stick.
And it comes down to not knowing.
And not knowing. You have to elevate your consciousness. You have to elevate your education. Otherwise, you're going to be screwed.
Yeah.
Good point.
We got here, what is Luke's birthday? That's a weird question. Luke, you don't have to answer that if you don't want to, but it's up to you.
Weirdo. Thanks for the $11.
Question for Luke. I'm late to the party, but how would you recommend someone who owns no crypto to move forward investing at this point in time? I'm 20 years old, waiting tables, so pretty little income. I'd think altcoins are for the higher upside potential.
I mean, yeah, right. If you're working a regular job right now, what you need to figure out is how to make more money. That's the most important thing. You're talking about investing, but you don't have much to invest, so your returns aren't going to be astronomical. What you need to do is figure out how to have a better job, how to get paid more. So be in a situation where you elevate your bank account. I was talking with a very successful entrepreneur in Singapore recently, and he said, the people that make money are the people that solve problems. And Elon Musk said it best. He said, you get paid in proportion to the difficulty of the problems that you solve. So if you want to solve big problems, you'll get paid big bucks. A lot of people are out here solving insignificant problems that make them replaceable. So you're not going to get paid a lot because you're not worth a lot to the marketplace. So if you don't have a lot of money, don't be worrying about crypto. Don't be worrying about the money. Focus on how to level up your skill set, how to provide value, how to solve problems, and go get a better job. I wouldn't say go get a job that is a 9 to 5 that gets you paid hourly. I like sales, things that get you paid for your effort. But I think it comes down to leveling up your income first before you start investing. What do you think?
I agree. No, a lot of people have an earning problem. And the thing is that people say, yo, I want to invest, I invest. You're never going to save yourself to being rich. You know, you can invest yourself to being rich, but you're going to need some kind of capital to invest yourself, to invest where you're actually able to like get some type of return. So yeah, bro, you have an earning problem, my friend. You need to make more money. That's what it comes down to. And having a skill will help you with that. Like I don't have an issue with guys having 9 to 5s. It's just that if you're going to have a 9 to 5, it needs to be a high income skill type job. And the funny part is when you have a high income skill, a lot of times you don't got to work a 9 to 5. Let's say you're a fucking surgeon. Those guys might do 1 or 2 surgeries a month, dude. You know what I mean? Obviously, they go to school for a period of time, but they make a bunch of money. Let's say you're a lawyer. You might not work 9 to 5, right? You kind of work your own hours depending on what type of legal, or what kind of law you practice, etc. Because I know there's some lawyers that work all the time, but then there's other lawyers that don't do shit and they make a bunch of money, corporate law, that type of shit. So
somebody made a really good comment here. If I may say, learn a trade. I always have work. And what's interesting is I was listening to an interview by the owner of NVIDIA. And it's one of the biggest it's the biggest chip manufacturer
going crazy right
now of AI in the world. And he said the people that are going to absolutely benefit from AI are the people with trade jobs. What happens when the farmer begins utilizing AI to optimize their job? What happens when the plumber begins to use AI? What happens when the electrician or the construction worker begins to utilize AI? Because AI can't necessarily replace a lot of these things, so you can utilize them to get richer and to get ahead. So yeah, trade jobs are absolutely amazing, and you don't have to shell out a ton of money to some centralized institution in order to have the ability to get a job.
And people don't want to do that.
People don't want to get their hands dirty, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I started waiting tables. I've pressure washed basketball courts. I cleaned toilets. I did what I had to do, and I just fell into digital business, and it worked. But it's not for everybody. I completely understand that. But you can make a ton of money. I see people making 6 figures a year having a trade job, and mad respect, because we need these individuals. Now use AI, tap into that, and learn how to increase your income. Maybe you have to go hire a right-hand person and give them a couple jobs and take 20% off of that.
That's the beauty of having a blue, like one of these blue-collar jobs is like, let's say you start off as a plumber, you figure out how to be a plumber. You're like, you know what? I know how to do this. I can manage other people, and then you can start your own plumbing business, and you already know how to do it, and then you can go ahead and hire other people, and then scale up from there and make a bunch of money doing that as well. So it's like it gives you a skill set where you'll always have work, and then you're always gonna need plumbers, you're always gonna need HVAC people, you're always gonna need people that need you to come in and do these manual labor jobs, and a lot of people don't want to do them, especially nowadays. Like there was something crazy. I think like right after the pandemic or whatever, like a year or two after, people were saying like they were struggling to find employees. Like people don't want to work, bro. So
yeah, everybody wants to get rich off of a crypto pump, and it's just not the reality of the situation. It's just not the reality of the situation. Most people lose money. I mean, I understand I'm an anomaly. Like I understand I'm not part of the statistic, and I completely get it. But if you're in a situation where you have a trade skill, go from learning how to just doing the trade to becoming a business owner and managing people, and that's how you begin to multiply your money, by utilizing other people's time and energy and giving them opportunity and taking a piece of it.
Bam.
All right.
And then for the guy that said that you want to move to Miami, bro, if you want to move to Miami, Miami's cool, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it's way more expensive than it used to be. So I would look at other places, maybe a Fort Lauderdale, maybe somewhere in Broward County, etc. If you don't have that much capital, because Miami's very expensive now.
You go to Miramar,
you can thank the New Yorkers and the Californians for that one.
Hollywood, Hallandale. I would say as well with Miami, there's many distractions. So
that
keep in mind, if
a lot of you guys come here and you don't work and you act like idiots and you lose all your money.
I've met so many entrepreneurs that come to Miami and they get into lifestyle, they lose their business, lose their clients. It's like
start partying too much, start doing drugs. You got to be extra focused here, because there's going to be fucking chicks all over the place. Like, yeah, man, you got to be extra focused here.
Yeah, it's super interesting, especially during the bull runs. You're in situations where where people start spending their money, and people don't realize that the money that they're making right now is from actions of the past, because money is a lagging indicator of success. You don't get paid today from your actions of today. You get paid for the things that you did before. So if you stop doing the things that got you rich, then in the future, that'll manifest in your income. People are like, oh, I lost my money. Yeah, because you lost the habits that made you the money in the first place. So money's a lagging indicator.
Fantastic point.
Success is a lagging indicator. So if you don't see success right now, but you're putting the action, just understand that it will catch up. The moment you stop doing the things that made you rich, you eventually lose it.
Absolutely.
That's a good point, man.
A very good point. Shout out to Lax and Luke for repping DeFi Degens. Cool. DeFi Degens to the moon. Shout out Laxagene. Brokies in the chat. Wait.
Stay mad.
Stay mad. Rare Paro. Okay. Bike life. Ismir Mustafa goes, Bitcoin will always be a store of value. It will never be used as a bridge currency. The transaction time is too long and the fees are high. XRP will move the